I quit my job. Let's try that again, shall we? Grossi Posse Packast! Nation, welcome to another episode of Packast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Grossi, and today was officially my last day of teaching, and as of right this second, I am a full-blown YouTuber. Because that's what society needs. Less teachers and more YouTubers. Now, some of you may be confused because back in 2019, I made a video in which I left my job, in which I did. However, if you've been following the streams and kind of everything from there, let me kind of just break down the timeline of what occurred. So back in 2019, I left a job in October that was a horrific job, was really, really bad. And I went and assumed that I was going to be able to just make it off of Packast. And I wound up getting a permanent sub job for 2 weeks, and quickly realized that I still needed more income because Packast was not bringing in nearly enough money for me to pay my bills. And so I was afforded an opportunity to go work another full-time job as a leave replacement, so for a specific amount of time, in which I worked a full-time teaching gig from November all the way up until the end of the draft in 2020. Then from there, COVID happened. And at that point, I needed to make a decision. Packast was doing well, potentially could start paying some bills, but I was concerned that the NFL season was going to get canceled because of this global pandemic that was going on. And so because of that, I took another full-time position. Now, during that time, September 1st of 2020, we hit 100,000 subs. This past season, we grew a ton as we are on the verge of hitting 200,000 subs. And so here we are once again. And listen, this has been a choice and a decision that was not an easy one to make, and one that I grappled with a ton, in that I have been teaching and also doing Packast for the past 6 years. They started at the exact same time. And the past 2 years, I've been doing both of them full time, working roughly around 100 hours a week, and that's when playoffs aren't occurring. And it was a lot, and it was draining as hell. But I wanted to make sure that I was really going to be okay if I was going to leave a stable source of income and a traditional job and a job that I was good at in order to go and potentially pursue this. And listen, there are going to be people out there that are going to make that comment of like, you know, you left teaching to be a YouTuber, like you're not doing good for the world. And that was something that I really, really struggled with because like I said, like I am a great teacher, and it's something that the students always made me want to come back and make me want to do the best job that I possibly could. And in these 6 years, I like to think that I helped a lot of students, and I worked my ass off to make sure that they came first, even when I was working an entirely other job. And so I think at this point, not just for my own mental sanity and mental health of working 2 jobs, I think at this point it's time for me to put my happiness and, you know, my pursuit of potential dreams at the forefront of things. And so for that, I'm not going to apologize because I know the good that I've done, and now I'm just going to advocate for my own happiness. And to say that I am going to do that and put myself first was very difficult to do because it's not something that I am used to doing in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can look at even how this channel is structured. The route of so many content creators is to build a following and then eventually just monetize that following, right? By selling them a whole bunch of products. And I will be very honest with you, I can't tell you the amount of companies that have reached out to me and are like, hey, we want you to promote this. We want you to promote this. And I have turned down almost all of them. I've done a handful of sponsorships, and it's only because I use the product, because I don't want to be somebody who is just shelling out products that they don't even use for money. And I'm not hating on anybody that does do that, because that's the model, right? That's how you're successful here. But some way, somehow, and much in part to the fact that this community is incredible, I am able to leave a job because the fan base is literally supporting this free show that I do. This truly is a fan-supported show, whether it's through donations, whether it's through Patreon, or whether it's through the YouTube members. Like, it's insane to me that we've been able to get to this point, and I've been able to stick to my morals and turn down this money and these opportunities for advertisements simply because that's not who I am and that's not who I want to be. And while I could make a lucrative living off of peddling a whole bunch of products, it's just not something that I'm interested in, and I think it's disingenuous for me to sell you something that I wouldn't use myself. So I want to thank you so incredibly much for allowing this opportunity to happen. I know so many creators are like, oh man, the community's so great, thank you so much, I'd be nowhere without you. But in this sense, like, it is 100% true. Because there's no way that I would have been able to do it. YouTube ad revenue is not a lot, folks. Like, they do not pay you a lot of money. And considering that I have been pumping out content at least 5 days a week since August of 2019, it ain't YouTube that's allowing me to do this. It's you. So thank you. Truly, truly thank you. And I've said from the beginning that this show is never going to get put behind a paywall. Even the Q&As that I do with Patreons and YouTube members, they're available after the fact. And yes, I promise you they will return. Now that I will only be working one job, they will be making a return in July. So don't you worry, I know that those were very popular. But this is a really big step, and it's a really big deal. We're kind of cutting out the safety nets, and I'm just going to try and make this happen and see how far it can possibly go. Am I nervous? 1,000,000%, 100,000,000%. I'm leaving a steady job in which over time I could have gotten a pension, in which I would have been in the retirement account, where I could have gotten health insurance, and all of that is gone now in pursuit of trying to make this a reality. I've worked so incredibly hard on this thing to give people entertainment, and especially during the pandemic, of pumping out so much content to take your mind off of the craziness of the world for a few minutes. That was something that I definitely took on that challenge, and I'm so happy that I did, because that makes me feel really good. And the fact that people have reached out to me over the years and have included really personal information about how a video helped them, or how it, kind of got them through a day, like that's why you do this crap. And I think that while I will miss the student part of teaching, that aspect of interaction and helping people, that I can still do here, just in another medium. I mean, we've raised so much money for charities. We raised over $11,000 for mitochondrial disease charities this year. And as we get bigger, or at least as I hope we get bigger, those opportunities are going to present themselves more and more, and we could do more and more good as a community. And so at the end of this, if I fall flat on my face and wind up broke and without a channel and any source of income, I'm at peace with that, because at least I know that I took a chance, and I know that, I bet on myself. That's what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So a big thank you again to every single one of you who have ever subscribed, liked, commented, donated, any of that, shared it with friends and family. I truly, truly appreciate it, because I wouldn't be here on June 25th, 2021, saying these things to you without you. In a year for me personally that has been a kick in the gonads and really hasn't been so great, I'm really, really looking forward to what the future looks like, and it's going to start tonight. Tonight, we're going to have our Friday night Q&A, and it's going to be a celebration, and it's going to be a good night. And I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. So I hope you stick around for what is going to be an absolute insane ride, and let's see how far we can take this thing. Let's do it. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. Check out Packast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course, YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you to all the patrons and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.